Hello, book lovers. I'm Kiki. Welcome back to my little corner in the internet. It is lovely to have you here. I am currently super extremely motivated to get like my entire week's like to-do list done right this second, which is always a like good and bad sign, but I thought I would channel that energy into reading a little bit as well, because part of what I have to do is clean my freaking desk um, and like my set of drawers under the desk, because there's like stuff in there that does not, I doesn't really matter. But I am super motivated and I thought, why not try to finish all of the books on my currently reading list? Because once again, I have like 5 or 6 books, I think it's 5, on my currently reading list. And instead of just like finishing those and being able to take off a book off of my TBR, physical TBR, and like on my like, reading goals, I'm just starting new ones. Now, let me start by showing you what I am currently reading, and then I will let you know what my plans are. But let me start with the audiobooks first. So I am currently listening to the Final Gambit. I am 14% through. So regular time is 9 hours and 50 minutes, which means that it will probably take me somewhere around 3 hours and like 20-ish minutes. I don't know how fast I can listen to it. I'm thinking 3 times speed, but I'm really excited to finally read that. And then what I am also listening to is a German sort of nonfiction book, and it's called Nemesis' Tochter. I just wanted to say the German and English title at once, or like the English translation, but it is basically Nemesis' Daughters. And this is a book about female rage, to be completely honest. The thing is, I am not going to work on this audiobook in this video because I started this audiobook as a sort of thing for me and my mom to listen to when we're in the car together, so that or if we're like doing something together and we can both like sort of plug in our headphones and just listen to an audiobook, because we have quite a lot of things we want to do within the house, like around the house, and sometimes you just like need something that you're listening to while you're doing that. So those are the 2 audiobooks, one of which I'm not going to include in this video, but let me show you the physical books that I am in the middle of or almost done with. So I've still got Unwell Women. I've been reading this for a while, but it's just like, it's something that I try not to rush through too much. It is super interesting. I can honestly not recommend this book enough, because it is such especially as a woman, I see aspects of my life in this. So this is all about how medicine and myth has, how should I say this, has treated women throughout history. We literally start in, I want to say prehistoric times, but ancient Greece to the 19th century is part 1. So we really do go back in time to see where some of the myths and even words come from that we use to describe women. And it is so interesting, and I'm loving it. I still freaking get A Sentence of a Bookworm, Part 2, Volume 4, which I'm like, why? I've actually paused this on the story graph because I haven't picked it up in so long. I'm like, I want to say about a third through. I just need to sit down and read it. And then I've got Rosen and Violen by Gry Kappel Jensen. It's the first book in the Rosenholm trilogy. And this is actually quite good. And I'm actually almost done with it. I do not have that much left. I'm guessing it'll take me another like 30-ish minutes maybe. So I do want to sit down to read this though. So what I am going to start with now is I am going to continue listening to the Final Gambit while cleaning off my desk, ripping everything out of my drawers, and like sorting through it. You know, there's some like of the stupid work that I need to do that's like figuring out if all of my pens actually still work, because the first drawer is like a bunch of pens that I haven't necessarily used in a while, and I'm like, I need to check if they're actually still functional. So it's just something that I can really nicely do with my headphones in and just listening to an audiobook. So I am going to start with that. And then the plan for today is to also finish Rosen and Violen, because first of all, this was on my May TBR. We're halfway through June. I also need to freaking start with my June TBR. My goodness. Oh, I'm so behind. Anyway, I know I keep saying the same thing, but it's the truth. It'll be fine. End of July and August, gonna be heavy reading months, okay? So, in terms of reading, what is interesting to you? These three, plus the Final Gambit audiobook, and other to-dos are stacking up, and I'm going to be doing those as well, because once again, motivation has kicked in. Not quite sure why, but I'm gonna take it. And I am just going to start, and I will check in with you once I have done my desk, because I actually need to sort of take it apart a little bit and like glue stuff back on. It doesn't matter. I just like chatting. So I'll see you later, and hopefully I will be a good chunk through the audiobook. Okay, so I thought I'd give a little update. I have made it 27% through the Final Gambit now, and I am having a little bit more trouble with this book than the first two, and I'm not sure why. It may have to do with like the love triangle. I'm not the biggest fan of a love triangle. I'm sorry, I've said it. But honestly, they can get kind of stupid, right? Anyway, so I ended up switching over to the audiobook of Unwell Women, and now I am at part 3, which is 1945 to the present. So, just, you know, this is where things are gonna get interesting and a little bit more relatable for me, given that I live in the present. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, I just realized that I only have this much of the actual book left. The rest is like notes and acknowledgements and an index. I love a good index, and sources and stuff. So anyway, I don't have that much left. So now I'm debating with myself whether I should try to finish this tonight or finish this, which I'm honestly gonna do. I'm probably gonna try to finish this tonight and then start my morning off with this. And I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do with the Final Gambit, because if I really don't want to DNF it, but if it doesn't like get to the point soon-ish. I don't know if I have the patience for it. It sounds really bad, but it is what it is. And yeah, we will see. But I have cleaned up my desk, which is amazing. I've cleaned up my drawers. Like, oh my goodness, they were a mess. I'm starting to think of like doing like the journal spreadsheet thingies with like, I've seen a lot of it online, and I realized how much like stuff I have I could put into a like page, and like with stickers and everything. And I have so many notebooks that I don't know what to do with. And I've started like 80-90% of them are started in some form or another. So now I'm like, maybe I could have fun and do like a little bit of a journaling thing. I don't know. We will see. Bonjour mes amis! So, I just had a really great walk, so I'm like all pumped up and shit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read and hopefully finish Rosen and Violen, and then I'm gonna get ready for bed and maybe play a bit of Infinity Niggy. I don't know yet. I don't know what's happening. But what I do know is that I am going to be finishing this dang book. So let's do that. We're also getting to a little bit of a doozy here. Someone thought they were going to get invited to a ball. And then the person actually invited one of their sort of like friends. Yeah, getting some drama. But then again, it's a high school. Like it's a boarding school. Like what did I expect? Okay, so I'm too lazy to get up to turn on the lights, so you're gonna see me like this. Yeah. I just finished Rosen und Violen, and this was pretty good. I think I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars. Like, it was a solid read, but like, I don't think it necessarily was anything special. I do like that we still have the big mystery going. I'm guessing it will sort of be a theme throughout the whole trilogy, which is going to be interesting. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens next year, because one book, well, at least the first book, it's basically one whole school year. So I'm interested to see what happens in book 2, which is always a good sign. Which is also technically on my June TBR, so maybe I will actually get to it in June. I do have quite a few other books to read though, so we will see. But anyway, I now have a book down, which is a great feeling. And I am going to get ready for bed, play a bit of Infinity Nikki, and yeah, just chill a little, I guess. Tomorrow I want to definitely try to finish Unwell Women and at least make a dent in Ascendance of a Bookworm. And then potentially the day after I will be able to finish and finally get to the other books I want to be reading, because I do really want to read the books that were on my May TBR as well. So we'll see. I also have a couple of other books I want to read, so we'll see how quickly I will get through things. Also, I have a purple axolotl. He's so cute! It was sitting there and looking at me. It is so adorable. Okay. I will see you tomorrow, and maybe I'll get to update you on the fact that I actually continued reading An Unwell Woman or something. Who knows? I don't. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello! So, after consideration, last night I ended up giving Rosen und Violen a 3.25 star because I realized that my mind kept drifting while reading this, and I think that is generally a sign that I'm not enjoying, like, the book, like a 4 or 5 star. Definitely a 3 star, so that's fine, but like, could have been better. I think one of my difficulties was sort of that this book is written from several points of view. I don't remember how many, like 4 or 5, something like that. And I think that sometimes it was difficult to distinguish between the different voices of the different characters. So if at the beginning of the chapter, it wouldn't have said specifically whose character we're like looking at the story from right now, it could have been difficult to sort of realize whose perspective we're on right now. But it was still good enough that I want to continue with it. So today in the morning, I read a chapter of Unwell Women, and I have been doing a lot of stuff. Not necessarily what I really should be doing, but productive procrastination is my jam. No, what I really should be doing is clean my room, like finish, like sort of maybe a little bit of a deep clean, but it's too hot. I need to do that tomorrow morning first thing when it is not like 1,000 degrees in this room. I also don't know why I'm still upstairs. I should just go downstairs. But anyway, I thought that I deserved a little break. And so I am going to read another chapter in Unwell Women, because then I will only have like 2-ish chapters left, I believe. Because I'm on chapter 16 is the next one, and there are 18 chapters and then the conclusion. So that would mean that I would probably be able to finish this today, which would be amazing, and then hopefully I can make some progress in Ascendance of a Bookworm. However, I bought myself a 3D printer and it arrived, like the printer arrived last night, like sometime yesterday, and the filament just arrived a couple of hours ago. And so the whole time I've been like working and doing things, I was like, I really want to set up my 3D printer and print the first thing, because a lot of the first things that I'm going to be printing are like bookish themed. So I want to print a like bookmark holder in the shape of a book. I already went into the makerspace, or like not the makerspace, I think it's called the Bamboo Lab makerspace, and where people like post their designs, and there are some absolutely incredible designs that I want to print, and it's going to be so fun. I found a little ghost where you can put like an electric like tea light in it, and the ghost is holding a book and the eyes are open, so if you turn on the electric like candle, it like it's gonna be so cute. I'm gonna put it onto my bookshelf. I also have like a book tracker that I found. Like I found several, but I'm definitely gonna print at least one of them that's like books read this year, and I think that's so much fun. And I can print one for like my ebooks and audiobooks, and one for like my physical books read, and it's very exciting. But because I am putting my books on my to-do lists now, I am first going to tick this off. So let's read a chapter in Unwell Women, and then go downstairs and set up the printer, because it is really getting unbearably hot up here. So I am going to have to spend more time downstairs. Yeah, maybe I'll sit outside later in the garden and read a little, which would be fun. We will see. So chapter 16 is called Mother's Little Helpers. Good morning. So, last night I did in fact finish Unwell Women, but it was a quarter to midnight and I was not gonna do a wrap up of it at like midnight. But this book, my goodness, this was so good. I love how I still have this in there. This spoke to a very deeply rooted female rage that I possess. I'm mad. The audacity that men have historically possessed, and let's be honest, still possess, to think that they know our, like, a woman's body better and have any more right to it than we do. No. So honestly, I highly recommend reading this to anybody and everybody, because I feel like this explains a lot. So, also the author is an unwell woman, as she talks a little bit, especially at the end, about her own struggles. And yeah, I'm very happy I finally read this. I wish I had read it when it came out. Oh my god! This was first published in 2021, so that's 5 years ago. How could I wait for this long? Anyway, 5 stars. I usually don't rate nonfiction, but honestly, this deserves it. So, yes. That means that Ascendant is all the way over there. But I technically only have now Ascendance of a Bookworm and the Final Gambit on my currently reading list, apart from that one audiobook that I am going to be like listening to with my mum. Hello. So, if it's really loud, I'm sorry. Also, I can't currently turn on the lights because literally every window we have up here is open right now. And I don't want any bugs or anything to find their way into our rooms. Anyway, I wanted to give you a quick update. Oh my Sorry, there's a storm coming, and there's nothing I love more than a summer storm. But that lightning? Holy shit. I thought it was gonna move like past us, but where it was just now might mean that it is actually gonna hit us. It is so far away enough though to not worry about it, about not having to worry about closing all the windows. Anyway, I wanted to give you a quick update. So I have about an hour left in this, which means I've made amazing progress. I'm really happy with it. I did a lot of things today. I started printing some stuff and I found this like ear cuff thing. Technically there are two, but I wanted to try one before I did like both of them. So I think it's really cute. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. But anyway, this was heartbreaking, but I knew it was going to be, so it was okay. And now there are a lot of like short stories on here, which I'm looking forward to reading to learn more about like some of the side characters. Now, that was my bad. I am going to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be finishing the Final Gambit. So I continued on with it a little bit and today, just while cooking, and I think my problem with this book is Eve, because she is super suspicious. And I feel like Avery has that feeling but doesn't trust it because of her insecurities and everything. And Jameson and Grayson and everything. But I am certain that Eve has something to do with Toby's situation. And I also have the feeling that after everything is resolved, she is still going to be sort of welcomed into the Hawthorne family, which I am going to have a problem with. So I might give it another shot tomorrow and see how far I get, but my main objective now is to finish this, and after that I'm probably going to finish off this video. If by the time I upload this, I have decided on what to do with the Final Gambit, I will write something into the description below to let you know what I thought, but I honestly don't know if I am going to be finishing this today or tomorrow. Definitely not today, but maybe tomorrow, but I honestly don't think so because there are a lot of books that I want to read, that I want to start, and I don't want to force myself to listen to the Final Gambit knowing that I might have a little bit of trouble with it. Sometimes it's more of a like get over yourself than like, oh yeah, you're not gonna like this book, so I don't want to DNF just to be done with it, because it definitely has the potential that I like this book, because I really enjoyed every other Jennifer Lynn Barnes book I have read so far. Hello, so I am now officially done with Ascendance of a Bookworm. I didn't manage to do it last night, I was way too tired. But I have now finished these 3, which means that I only have the 2 audiobooks on my currently reading list. Oh, there's a little bit of focaccia dough on there, okay. And yeah, I'm really happy with this, especially because I read this now in like the past 2-3-ish days, I want to say. And that's an accomplishment. So I'm really happy that I finished these. I have the second one of this on my June TBR. All of these I think were on my April or May TBR, so it's like good that I finally read them. No, it was May because they had the TBR jar thing in there. But yeah, this is probably going to be a 4-star. I really enjoyed the little short stories after the epilogue because we always learn a lot more about the other characters in that and not just mine. And it was fun to see Sylvester sort of choosing to give mine the necklace or the pendant or whatever it was. So that was fun. Again, everyone should read this. And I am still on the fence about this. I gave it 3.25 stars, I believe. And we'll see what happens with the second book, but I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence about this. Overall, the premise and the storyline I think are really fun, but I'm not sure if I'm loving the writing. Maybe it would be nicer if I could read it in Danish, however, I do not speak that language. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!